All right. It's been a double coffee day today. Lot happening. My cohort at my day job's actually on vacation. I know. I don't think he's allowed to take vacation anymore because live stream got pushed back a little bit because there was some shenanigans happening at the old work, and they're like, "Hey Titus, I know you like kind of work here still, but we're running into a couple problems. Can you fix this?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess." Yeah, so that was fun. So sorry for the late start, but yeah. So Duo, subs for you, man. You've been here for a while. I was like, oh, I gotta shoot you a sub. I saw that your last one ran out. So, but yeah, no, that's been fun. Big things today, big agenda items, specifically going over one, a couple things that Coding Wonder sent in the Discord, specifically kind of going over some of the code that is Microsoft's putting out into the ether, and a lot of the new public releases. I'm going to show it on stream, and then you be the judge. Is it vibe coded? Is it not vibe coded? Looks vibe coded to me, and I'll kind of go over my rationale for it, because a lot of the things they put in the code base is from like the 90s, and I'm just like, I don't think COM ports are really used very much these days. Neither is Serial. But maybe there's some legacy code in that spaghetti string of Microsoft that is there. But the fact it was done in PowerShell kind of makes me go, I don't think they know what they're doing. so I'll show it on stream. I think that's a fun one. Second thing is I actually have a pass-through PCI card. Not quite getting stubbed out correctly. VFIO, I believe, is the kernel driver being used, but I don't believe it's passing through correctly because I was trying to do a firmware update on that USB in a VM. It just wasn't quite working right, specifically for the next item, which that was for an Xbox controller because I needed to upgrade the Xbox controller firmware to a specific version so then I can use Bluetooth wirelessly. First world problems, right? So it's not really that important, but I figured it might be a fun thing to troubleshoot on stream. And then the third thing is the new Xbox interface. Still want to tinker around with it, and we'll probably do some registry hacks and things to kind of get it going. Having said that, YouTube has been kind of on a weird thing right now. Oh, I got some problems with my mic. Oh. Light mic problems today. Oh no! 1 second. Let's fix that. Oh my! Wait a second. Hold on, just a minute here. Mic problems. Stupid wireless mics, I tell you. It's always something. Give me a hand in a virtual machine on Vert Manager. I don't do virtualization help. No, sir. But I'll take a look at the announcement. What USB card are you going to use? I think it's like this generic Amazon crappy one. So, you know. Maybe it's just weird tweaking. Sounded muddy. I'll troubleshoot it afterwards. Yeah, we got a different scene. We got a different mic. So we're all good. I tested this one before the stream. I didn't test that one, though. Always got to test. Always got to test. So, yeah. Oh, Fish. 3 stream streak. Congrats, man. Look at you. Fish. 3 stream streak. All right. You get a sub. Gotta spend all this stuff for old Twitch. And I just stopped accepting payouts, so I can't get like an allowance of subs. It's like this. To do the binds. They take 50% of, instead of paying me, they just say, oh, well, you can spend it on other things, and then we'll just take 50% of that. Whatever. It's all good. Oh, dude, look, we got another stream. That's cool.
Oh my gosh. What is happening? Three streams. Okay. Whoa. That's new. Is this a new thing? I didn't even know. I'm terrible. Anyways, continuing on. The big thing that I wanted to look at was the article specifically going over, I think this was over here. Oh, where is it? I should put streamer mode on, but whatever. Yeah, the full screen experience on any standard 25H2. I wanted to test this Xbox experience out. So that's later in the stream as well. Maybe we get to it, maybe we don't. We didn't get to it last time. Let's get going, because those are the big things, the big agenda items of the day. First off, let's go to the announcements on Discord. And it was somewhere in here. One thing, MicroWin is Windows only and will remain Windows only. Yes. This is a good one. You can't make Windows ISOs in Linux. Specifically because all of MicroWin's tooling is from Microsoft, meaning DISM and AppX and CBS, all those functions are on Microsoft only and Windows only. So fire up a Windows VM, make it there. There will never be a Linux version of MicroWin. There will never be Windows Util version. We have Linux Util already, but that's completely different from WinUtil.
Yeah, well,
a lot of the same functionality, but very different operating systems. Windows is not at all like Linux. And I just want to clarify. They're very, very different. So many different ways. So, yes, thank you for letting me know. Are QNAP NAS devices good these days? Absolutely not, excellent chef. They're complete ass. Technical term there. The reason why, I mean, they're not terrible. Let me refrain. Let me soften my stance a little bit and give some rationale here. QNAP devices I used ever since the very first version of QNAP, actually, back in 2007-ish, I want to say. And the hardware itself is not terrible. It's proprietary, much like Synology devices. But QNAP has a very storied history of my QNAP cloud getting hacked. And I'm talking a pretty storied history in that regard. So, that's the big thing. Oh, in announcements. Did I not? Not the one. I need to learn how to use Discord too. Announcements. Here we go. Yes. MicroWin. We might save this for another one. I'll pull it up. But yeah, you're not gonna whine DISM. It's not a thing. Theoretically, it could, but no. There were just so many dependencies there. So no, wine is not an option. Yeah, so the Xbox full screen mode's much like Steam big picture mode, but from Windows. So it won't start Explorer.exe, and the overhead of Windows will be considerably less. You can see how attractive that is to many gamers on Windows. So, yeah. So we might look at that. Now, you guys are like a bunch of horde of cats trying to push me every which way. Let's stay on topic here. All right. First up. What are your typing speed in general? I'm average, like 60, 70 words per minute. Nothing that's like woo, crazy, but also passable. So I don't look when I type. I can pretty much jam out words and stuff. What is it? What's the type-in website? We could test really fast. It's been a while since I think the last typing test I did on stream was, probably, was it Typing Monkey? I want to say like Type Monkey. Monkey Type, that's it. So change thing be high, say all one. For good, few face may. Well down, how man. Word at well white. Many, nay, large, possible. There. Yeah, that's 70. So yeah, I'm not gonna win any awards with that typing speed, but it's fine. I probably could go with like an ortholinear keyboard and really focus on my typing skills and just go, oh, I can ink out 10 or 20 words per minute. I really don't care. And it's fine. I like just my QWERTY keyboards. I like being universal. You know, here's a hammer, here's a nail, let's just go. You know, don't overcomplicate typing. Get to a passable. I think anything over 50 words per minute is passable. Anything else is just like, you know, icing on the cake. I missed a question further up. Oh, yeah. I saw that, the presentation like last year, but you got a dark mode this time, Coding. Chat will like that. Yes, monkey type. That's it. So, Titus teaches typing. Win. Okay, so if you want my advice for typing, how I learned typing, and how I learned above 60 words per minute. I didn't take a typing class. Actually, I failed my first typing class in middle school. I don't even know if they have typing classes anymore. Don't want to date myself here. But what I did was I played Quake 2. In Quake 2, this is pre-voice chat, or, well, I mean, there's Ventrilo, I think, back then. But most times we would, you know, you'd be in game and you'd like to type out things. You'd be like, haha, you suck, noob. And that type of thing. So, Quake 2, I would do that. And then I learned to type with Quake 2 in like the late 90s. And that's where I actually got most of my typing skills from, to where I could still play the game because you couldn't look down at the keyboard, someone could shoot you. So that's my method of it. Oh, and the QNAP devices, though, did I finish that thought? QNAP devices, from a hardware perspective, are very, very close to Synology. I still say Synology has the edge on them, but the security of QNAP has been compromised time and time again, with my QNAP cloud getting hacked multiple times in the past 5 to 6 years, I want to say. So I would still err for Synology over a QNAP device, and I don't necessarily recommend QNAP devices much these days. I've also had increased failure rates, just anecdotally here, with my personal use case that I've seen in business. So QNAP is not on my list of buying devices. What I'd probably recommend these days, TrueNAS, actually, because I know people hate Synology because they've kind of turned into like the evil, greedy corporation that forces, like, hey, you got to use our drives. They've just done a lot of things that make you go, oh god, it's just another evil corpo. So TrueNAS is probably my recommendation these days. And TrueNAS is solid, and if you want to build your own and bring your own hardware to it, you can. A TrueNAS scale is pretty much the de facto standard now, so they moved away from FreeBSD and jails, which I kind of hated. And now it's Linux-based with, I want to say they use Docker now. And it's a lot better. So for those NAS people out there, thanks, excellent chef, as we get situated here in the stream. So that's fun. After your last stream, I installed TW and configured it. I would say it's better time than Wayland and Hyperlink. Okay, I patched it with the Steam patch, and now Steam games work so much better. Ooh, I need to look at that patch bot. I appreciate the heads up, because we can always improve DWM. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, Synology is great for newcomers. It's the best plug and play out there. It really is. I still, as much as they've just completely shat all over their client base with saying, hey, here's this and that, there's still a lot of great features for Synology. And I still use them. And I still use it here at the house. So they're not bad. Ugreen has a ton of people. They've contacted me and every influencer out there. You're hearing a ton about Ugreen because they're handing out devices like Pez candy to influencers. So that's why you see Ugreen in your feed a bunch. Me personally, I've never used Ugreen. I can't speak to the validity of them. I know they're kind of like the new kid on the block. So maybe one of these days. I just don't do sponsored videos at all anymore, though. So I get, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 100 sponsored emails a week. And I don't respond to any of them. So if anybody's sending me sponsored emails and I don't ever respond, that's why. I don't see a point anymore, really. So I just pretty much lean fully into just doing WinUtil support and developing things and just kind of having fun on Linux, and that's just my happy place, you know? And I don't really want to do anything else. I'll make a video on YouTube when it makes sense, but I don't really actually have like a content schedule like, hey, I need to do this many videos or anything like that. I'm just like, haven't done a video in a month. I probably should put something out. I might take a couple hours to do that every once in a while, especially if there's something to say. But if there's not something to say, then I never make a video just to make a video these days anymore. Had a problem with full screen and the window jumped around and I looked it up. Oh, all right, bot. I'm going to check that out. Sponsor video. My subscribers, they pay me money. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, let's check out. Let's slide into the stream here with the Coding Wonders presentation on MicroWin, where we've gone, where we're going, where we've been. Did this download? I think it downloaded, right? Probably downloaded it twice now. Yeah, I did. Dude, look at you, dark mode. Coding Wonders is really stepping it up this day. All right, it's time for us to present MicroWin, Evolution of Customized Windows ISOs in 2 years by Coding Wonders, the MicroWin expert. Don't put your sunglasses on. I listened to feedback from last year. All right. Those new here, MicroWin is our operating system deployment solution designed to debloat version of Windows. It's for installations to take 5 to 10 minutes. Successor of Tiner 11 Builder from NT Dev. NT Dev's Builder still works great. He does have the Tiny 11 Builder, which I still actually recommend if you don't want to use MicroWin. It's not bad. It allows downloading ISOs from Microsoft servers, leveraging Fido. Sometimes that can be hit and miss, so it just depends on what's going on Microsoft servers, but for the most part it works. It supports Windows 10 and Windows 11 mainline versions. If you've already seen this from last year, skip it. All right. How do we get where we are? Originally was made by Conti back in October of 2023 in the PR 1129 of WinUtil. Conti actually did a lot of different redesigns. The actual GUI, the initial GUI redesign with higher standards of theming before I did it all, it looked completely awful. Conti was the one that made kind of it look decent. And it was pretty good. Later evolution, primarily done by me, Coding Wonders, enhancements proposed, both solutions in the repository. I've touched MicroWin just a little bit, just to give my little feedback here. Specifically when I need to cull things back a little bit. Sometimes it gets a little bit too bloated or too many checkboxes and those types of things. There's been a couple commits here and there where I kind of clean it up and kind of just bring it back to that. The big thing I want out of MicroWin and how I foresee it, a little tidbit here that I'm adding, is I always want it to be just a standard install, not super debloated. Like, I think Tiny 11 goes a little bit too far for my liking. That's kind of why MicroWin exists. It's really meant to be Windows as it was in Windows 7. That's how I envision MicroWin. Just a plain Jane desktop. Everything works. You can install any Microsoft product. It's going to work. All the dependencies are there. Nothing crazy gets taken out. It's just a plain Jane Windows install without any of the crap. Essentially, that's the too long didn't read of MicroWin. Who is Coding Wonders? He did a Who Am I? What are you using here? Lenovo Trixie. You're a Dirty Debian user? What? Did not know that, Coding Wonders. Anyways, Coding Wonders software. He's made DISM tools, unintended generation. Now, I still don't use this Coding Wonders, and I need to. We maybe even make like a little... Do we have a link to the unintended generator? Because that might be good. Because I always end up going to shenanigans, Schroeder. I don't know. That one auto generator that's a website. You guys know what I'm talking about. Shenanigans. Yes, shenanigans. Thank you, Fluffy Punk. It is shenanigans. And the GitHub links are down below. And he also has a sysprep preparation tool. Sysprep, a lot of times, let's say if you're a sysadmin, sysprep will, you can install all your stuff, and then you can go sysprep generalize and shoot it back to kind of that stock ISO image, then deploy it out to a ton of different things. So it's been great. He's been dealing with Windows and its nonsense for 3 years, but has used it for 15. MicroWin expert based on the Roland C22 community. Absolutely the MicroWin expert. He has done by far the most pull requests. I want to say MicroWin pull requests, probably 90% of them are from Coding Wonders. Totally made that number up, but it's definitely in that realm. Might be more, might be less. I don't know. Some say he haunts AI models for lunch, and that he sometimes becomes an AI to give accurate knowledge. All I know is he's called Coding Wonders. Car shows fans will likely know where this is coming from. Oh. What if Coding Wonders is an AI himself? Well, if he is an AI, I'm signing up for that program. That's right. That is something I said. I love it. I love it. MicroWin and my flagship software. DT, which can find on WinUtil now, has been sitting, this is DISM tools, has been sharing some features and functionality to help each other improve. Yeah. And I don't know, he might even make a more involved fork of MicroWin. There was talk of that kind of behind the scenes too. He might even get into it. Let's see. Because I look at this, it's pretty good, but I don't want any more options. I always want to keep this as basic as possible. And I know Coding Wonders, one thing I know he's thinking about doing, I know he'll add another checkbox or maybe a drop down or two in here. And this is already starting to get a little too busy for my liking. So I always try and keep it really minimal. And he always likes to throw every feature that you could possibly want and every outcome, which is great. I love that enthusiasm, but at the end of the day, I always try and keep things real basic. But it's great. And this is kind of funny. I wonder what this looks like if you ever come back to the stream in like a year or two. What's that going to look like? Yeah. I look at the early versions of WinUtil now, and it's like, whoa, it's a completely different tool. How he came on the scene back when Microsin was first introduced, I decided to try it. Though I couldn't, since it didn't want to find the OSDIMG from the copy of Windows ADK. It still doesn't, but I can grab it now from GitHub. Yeah, I think I think one of your first commits was actually just saying, hey, put this, or no, I think I actually did copy the OSDIMG directly into the WinUtil repository. And then I don't know if the link was broken. I can't remember exactly the problem with it. It was polished a bit. I could test it. I didn't find and didn't remove anything. Unfortunately, so did others. Yeah, there was a lot of problems at the initial thing. Conti kind of just threw it up because Conti, he was more of a full-blown software developer where he worked for some major big tech corporation. And he was just like, hey, let me just improve your utility. He just tossed everything up, kind of frameworked out a whole bunch of stuff. And then he was like, deuces. And then I haven't talked to Conti in many years now. So hopefully he's still bopping around somewhere. But it was really cool. It was really neat for him to just kind of just saying, hey, you should probably add all this stuff too, and then just deuced out. And then it was kind of led us and many of the other contributors to come in, and Coding Wonders graciously came in and took over most of MicroWin. So at the point, I'd already started getting with a PowerShell, so I could now get there and check things by myself. I wouldn't go over what happened here. It's detailed in the presentation from last year. His first pull request in 13.13 fixed an issue. It fixed it too well. Yeah. There's all you can. That's the thing I love about GitHub. You can see all the PRs everyone's ever done. It's so cool. Added VirtIO drivers, and there was also a big PR he did, which he's probably going to get into. The big thing here was VirtIO is what I use for most of my virtualization. So on stream, whenever I'm firing up a Windows instance, it's usually virtualized through QEMU, and it uses VirtIO drivers. And I was manually installing them. I think through like an executable, I would pass through to the VM. But he added that option to make my life a lot easier, because I think he saw me running it. The other big thing that he did was the initial iteration of MicroWin nuked all of the network drivers. So most people would install like the first iteration of MicroWin before Coding Winter came around. And I knew it was a thing. I was like, I don't have time to look at that right now. And I'm pretty sure you did that PR, didn't you, Coding? It was a big one, though. That was big. Not having the network drivers was probably the biggest downfall of the very first iterations of MicroWin. Disabled news and interest. That still sucks. I hate that. That's also on the default settings of the standard tweaks on WinUtil. I always do that. Atomic configuration introduced in August 2024, canceled due to bloated UI. It added some tweaks that you could select and fixed a few others. Configured several things about the upcoming 25H2 and fixed a few things. Yeah, I think the very first iteration of 25H2, right as it launched, I hadn't quite merged it into the main stable branch yet, and it did not make the ISO for 25H2. Why is there so few to describe about these PRs? So let's see, more started contributing thing, but no longer just me. There was also more PRs. I know Calum's done some PRs on the MicroWin side of things as well. But yeah, he still does when he can. He's actually very active in the Discord too, more active than me. What was not introduced yet? Both installations and tweaks applied in run spaces, which serves to prevent the UI from freezing. So yeah, run spaces was never fully implemented in MicroWin. Run spaces was actually developed by developer Derp, and I made a first run at run spaces and tried a couple different iterations. There was a couple other contributors that also tried, but I want to say developer Derp was the very first one to properly get run spaces working. Run spaces with PowerShell and how we build the GUI all in that one script. I'm just going to say right now, it's pretty much black magic. Whenever you try and get help with it, and the documentation is just what Microsoft puts out on the knowledge base. You can't use any AI assistance for it because there's just nothing, no examples to go off of, really. I think MicroWin and also WinUtil, and just on its whole, when it comes to run spaces, is one of the only projects I've ever seen implement it in existence. Like, I'm sure there's more. I just haven't seen them. That's kind of the wild part about most of this, is at the end of the day, WinUtil is a PowerShell script. And people don't realize it's not a program in the sense that it installs on your system. I always wanted it to be a destructive, like, hey, you launch it once, and then it just disappears. Not destructive is probably the wrong word. Portable is really the word I'm looking for. And I never wanted it to modify anything when it came to program installation. I never wanted it to modify and install files on your system. I always wanted it to just be, hey, Microsoft did something stupid, updated things, and I wanted to get rid of it. And that's kind of the idea behind it. And I also wanted it to be as performant as it can be in run spaces, which is so instrumental on that. So yeah, I like the graph. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it was a little bit of a trial and error a little bit. And my drift was really instrumental in that as well. He's done a lot of PRs on the official branches and not MicroWin per se. He's done a couple, but mostly on WinUtil. My drift has done a lot of revamps over the years. Second offense, worst PR I've ever reviewed. So did the entire job, but it did too much. As with most things, when it comes to AI, it always does too much. Whenever I see a review that has like 1,000 lines changed, I'm always like, okay, I guess I'm gonna review this AI PR. A lot of times, I always try and say, limit the scope down as much as you possibly can if you're going to use AI assistance, and make sure it's very limited in scope, because it's super important that you don't bloat up this, because as I've explained, this is a script at the end of the day, and it's already at about 10,000 lines, and I really don't want it to go past that. So every single time I'm taking a PR in, my mind is this going to make things bloated? Is it going to make it slower? If the answer to those two questions is yes, without much trade-offs, as far as benefits, I always just deny it. So, very important. It escalated into system privileges, process to allow unblocking files, and checking resources used by processes. So, yeah. The ISM service should pretty much be there all the time, although I still get a lot of people doing custom windows. There's more custom windows than I thought really existed in the world, where people use like shady sites and ISOs that other people make, and I always discourage that. And they might even have an install with some of those modified Windows installs. A lot of times they purge a lot of the dependencies required to make a proper ISO. So a lot of people having MicroWin issues, a lot of times it is very much a user problem, meaning they're doing something they shouldn't do using a modified Windows ISO that's not from Microsoft, actually installing their system from something they didn't create. This is the worst PR I... Dang, Coding Wonders, you're just nuking old poor Caleb here. It's all good. Caleb's still new though. He's gotten a lot better in just this past year. It's insane. I really like Caleb. It broke the whole thing. Oh. The Longhorn label. I love it. It just means the PR is absolute crap. Oh, that's pretty funny. I love I love the tag there, Cody. Our second attempt, the worst PR I've ever reviewed. Oh, what happened here? Claude Code. Who made this one? Some final facts before I moved on. This was planned here. Initial review is around 20 minutes. Let's see. Hey, Pirate Software. Did I mention I used to work in Blizzard Entertainment? Oh, man. You think YouTubers are still farming the Pirate Software drama? I think I had one pop up on my feed like yesterday or something. I was like, I thought we were past that. But all right, they're still farming it. That's hilarious. Anyway, sorry. I digress. This is a domain I use for testing purposes only. Active Directory really is a pain though on Windows Server. It's quite painful in Zithal as well. Oh, it's manageable. I've always liked Active Directory. I grew up on Active Directory. I've used Active Directory for decades at this point, so I'm a little biased here. So I've always, to me, it's just, this is how you do things in business. I covered these over the last year, but they have slightly changed. Development system, Lenovo, an i3 606U, 4 gigabytes. You brave soul. We need to do like a GoFundMe for Coding Wonders to get a new development system. I think we need to champion that. Back in 2024, I first featured this laptop. It ran Windows 10. However, due to the indie support, the fact it now is Windows 11. Remind me about the Windows 10, Windows 11, and not supported hardware. Once we finish this up, we need to talk about it. Here are screenshots of the new developments. Oh, okay. Here we go. How you're Katie Plasma user. All right, good stuff. Tiling window managers. Just not for me. They're not for everybody, and that's okay. Honestly, if you're offended by someone using just a regular desktop environment, come on, man. Go outside, touch grass. You know, it's okay. Like, KDE works great. It's fine. Yeah. Me personally likes DWM better, but I know that's not for everyone. Dev System 1.0 is not meant to be remoted into because this uses X11. I leverage XRDP. A lot of people always were like, check out Winboat, check out all these other projects. Honestly, all of them use XRDP. XRDP is amazing for the most part. It's a great way of promoting into like Windows systems, but also you can do a lot of really, really cool stuff. I wonder, Coding, have you done much as far as just streaming applications instead of doing full-blown RDP? He might actually talk about this. They had to diagnose some issues I was having with the Samba service. I hate Samba. Samba sucks. Use NFS instead. Unless you're like, obviously, if you're in like a business environment and you need really granular permissions, Samba makes sense. But home users using SMB, they just hate themselves or don't know any better. There's no in between there. Those are the only two types of people using Samba. People that don't know any better, and then people that hate themselves and just go, I'm just going to keep using SMB because I really just don't like what I see in the mirror. And I want pain and suffering and to be slower than everyone else in the world. Remember when we did the stream when we were benchmarking SMB and NFS? I'm sorry, I'm about to go on a whole different rant. Continuing. I used Kate here to show that it can code. Use Kate? Really? There's nothing better than Visual Studio for me yet. Oh, that's fair. Writer works, but it's sluggish on my machine. Honestly, I don't even like sluggish. I don't even like Writer on my machine. I know there's going to be someone from JetBrains that are going to get mad at me. But Writer just seems really sluggish and slow on any system. Even my little Xeon system with 64 gigs of RAM, I'm still kind of like, yeah, but I don't really like Writer. I just prefer VS Code over the JetBrains suite for some reason. I don't know. Somebody in the chat's probably going to say skill issue, but yeah, no. For scripting, I just use either Kate or Nano. You're not a Vim user? Oh, man. You got to get some Vim in your life. That way you can be like Primogen and be like, and just be jamming out and erasing lines of code and switching between function calls and all that. Or you'll be like me, like a toddler trying to learn to walk for the first time in Vim. And that's typically how every stream goes. But one of these days, I'll get better. Development System 2.0. ThinkPad P16 Gen 3. Ultra 9 185H. Dang. Okay. Here we go. It's had some issues. However, all of them are software related. Easily to fix. It also had the dreaded KB 5063878. But it never crashed. Honestly, this kind of got hyped up by a lot of YouTubers, and it could be bad, especially if you had a small NVMe NVMe drive with not much space left on it in your rockin' Windows. That could really, really crash a lot of NVMe drives. Most of my NVMe drives were rather large, and it wasn't constantly like going through trim to like nuke the drive with that update. So I didn't have any problems with that update either, but I could see some out there doing Oh yeah, the vibe coders. Let's talk about that here in a second, Jen. Let's finish this. What do I do daily on MicroWin? Even though it's considered a MicroWin, I do not daily it on any of my systems. Instead, I regularly use Windows 11 install. I customize myself. Creating installs to customize yourself is the best way to create the ultimate installation. Agree 100%. MicroWin, in my opinion, provides the basic blocks. If you want to go further, though, you're going to need to learn Windows inside and out. I provide a guide I think is simple to understand. Very good. Learn the GUI, learn basic commands, install Windows. Intermediate things, Windows registry, group policy, learn basic development with DISM, learn virtual machine environment, local OS install with command line. I mean, local install with command line kind of teaches, it's kind of the same with DISM because you're going to be using DISM a bunch. Advanced things, unattended installs. I don't know if I'd break this into 3 groups. I think unattended installs with an XML kind of goes into intermediate. Learn Windows Server fundamentals. Yeah, that's advanced. Role and feature management, also kind of in the advanced realm. Most people don't want to dive into it, but it's important. Learn basic Active Directory domain, no replication, no FSMO. I think you have to know FSMO roles if you get into Active Directory at all. At least understand that entire structure with FSMO is super duper important when deploying any kind of domain controller. And I would say definitely learn that. If you're getting an Active Directory, you got to know FSMO. You got to know just domain controller setups and those types of things. 100%. Learn how to set up network deployment systems, WDS, MDT, Fog. They're nice. It's nice. If you're deploying tons of images, for sure. Fog is my recommended. The Windows deployment services is just awful. PTSD. Hate it. I'm never going to use it again in my life. No, I will never do a video on that because I don't hate myself. So Fog, I could do a video. I love Fog. Still love Fog. I bet it's still a great project. Haven't used it in many years now, but would be my recommendation for deployment. Group policy management with Active Directory. Make test systems, join your domain, and apply GPOs. Separate the GPOs and don't make Chris angry. Good looking out. Thank you for that. Also, give you the tooling to get started. Oh, so good. This is not an entirely self-promotion, even though it may seem like it. There are other tools that make this easier. Yeah, it's a good list. We try and keep this list to not encompass everything, but just what most people would use. Like, even though I talk crap about like JetBrains, you'll see JetBrains is in here. We still have some of that stuff because there's many people that do fantastic work with that suite and they recommend it. So that's a huge chunk of the development community. So I try and keep kind of an eye on what most people use. Now, really obscure FOSS projects that's only used by like a couple hundred people, I just don't want to add that because it's just going to upload a list. And there's usually better tooling already available. So just because something's FOSS won't make it in here, but if it has good adoption and it's widely used, it will. So that's my take. It involves relatively a steep learning curve. Linux does as well. However, you'll get there. And that's the thing I never really understood. When I came to Linux, a lot of people were like, Linux is so hard, Windows is easy. And I'm like, I guess from a starting point, people just know Windows better because it's been the market leader for decades. And that's, I think, the big difference between Windows and Linux. Very similar in the component structure, but they just, it's just they work very differently as far as how things are administered. Instead of drivers, you can do like kernel modules and those types of things if things don't work. But most things should just work out of the box, and learning hardware and finding hardware that works really well in Linux, so you don't even have to worry about kernel modules. It's always. Sorry, I'm going to go on a huge second thing. Trying to stay on track. Check out the Linux book, linuxbook.com. You guys want to check that out? We're still working on it. And then the Windows knowledge. So great. That was fun. That was fun taking it, man. But I appreciate you, Coding Wonders. Thanks for making the PowerPoint. We'll see what 2026's PowerPoint looks like. We'll always be able to come back to it. Oh, it's hard to hear you over the music. Did I turn my music up? Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I changed some of the audio stuff, and then everything goes downhill. Sorry, guys. Nah. All right. And I just changed a few things. Thanks for letting me know. There are some amazing devs that are primarily Windows peeps. Carmack, Tori come to mind. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see where people have gone in recent years. I mean, I think when it comes to coding in 2025, if you're starting out, I couldn't imagine anybody wanting to start in Windows. That's just insane to me. Windows is a terrible coding environment. You only stay in Windows because that's what you know. Whenever I code, I really, really like being in Linux comparative to Windows, but I know both operating systems very well. If I didn't know Linux very well, I would prefer Windows. So, and yeah, there's a huge time commitment to learn Linux as well. A lot of Linux folks go, well, yeah, you can just jump on Linux and it works great. No, not from a power user perspective, and most programmers are power users. You're going to have to dedicate some time to learn Linux to really enjoy being in Linux, and you got to enjoy that journey. Most power users probably will enjoy the journey. I'm not trying to dissuade you, but don't take the easy road out. Probably half Linux users are just normies. They just know how to install a distro and then kind of go around a little bit, maybe use the terminal a little bit, but most people really don't know that much. And that's okay. It's just those are the ones that are saying, oh, Linux is so easy, anyone can do it. Well, they're not a power user, and yeah, for normal stuff, Linux is fine. But for more complex things, it is a learning experience, and it does take a lot of knowledge that you don't possess when coming from Windows. And you have to kind of relearn some things. So, to each his own. Chris, do you still have the web UI for audio control? Nope, I dropped that. So everything's done through hardware now. I used to use, I think it was Soundcraft. It kind of sucked because I had like this weird analog to digital problem. And these days I just use it's cheap as crap. I always wanted to get rid of it, but it just works enough. It's PreSonus. It's like $500-600, and it has tons of digital inputs all through a USB. And it works. Man, mic volume going up and down all over the place. Okay, one second. One second. Let's go here. And bring that up a little bit. Okay. How's this? This might be a little better. Maybe it's not. You'll have to let me know. I wonder. Let's see. Maybe compressor. I think if I do this and then I'm gonna match the ratios just in case. Nah, we'll keep that low actually. Actually, okay, that introduces a little bit of line noise. All right, now the line noise should be a lot less. And it should be good. Okay, now I'm too quiet. Well, shucks. Well, we'll see. A bit of a learning thing. Yeah, I think I introduced an expander on this one, so I was trying to do an expander for the bottom end and then do a compressor on the upper end. So I'm taking the expander down a little bit and then also changing the ratios out. So the expander is going to be much quieter, but it should take the low end and kind of crush that. We'll see. Okay. Okay, good stuff. I think the expander was running into the compressor as well. I don't use Notion. No. I use Notion for like a hot second Nightcrawler, like way back in the day. Obsidian's always kind of been my go-to, where I was just like, hey, Obsidian's just so much better in so many different ways. So Notion, I've never been a big fan of. I know a lot of YouTubers love Notion, but I just never could get into it. Yeah, have a compressor filter on loud sounds, an upward compressor filter for quiet. I use an expander, Carson, for the bottom side. So it tries to compress low sounds. And then if things go over like 40 decibels, the compressor will take over instead of using the expander. And then it'll compress for the higher end. I probably should adjust this. And I'll tinker with it offline, though. I mean, why not Vim, right? Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about too today is one thing that kind of came up was specifically, oh God, who was it? I think it was YouTube, and specifically it was like CyberPC, I think it was. I can't remember. Not CyberPC. What's that guy's name? CyberTech PC? It's always easier when people just use their names. But I get it. Was it CyberTech? Because it was something that happened in the space. Ah, here we go. Boom. This guy. I was watching this, and I was like, oh, the dreaded copyright strike from Microsoft through YouTube. So this has been going around in most of the tech space. I think there's been a couple other creators that got hit for a bypass NRO. Essentially, he made a video on how to bypass the online activation. Now, my method is a bit different from his. His was just adding a registry key. And the registry key was just to bring bypass NRO back. Mine's an unintended, basically an injection of an unintended XML after you've already reached the OOBE, which both ways are valid. But Microsoft apparently is copyright striking, or at least claiming, all the tech videos that show the other method, which is just adding the registry key. So kind of wild that that's happened as well. Oh, and the title of the stream, the vibe coding of Microsoft. So Microsoft won. What in the heck? That's crazy. Forcing everybody online. Absolutely bonkers. The other thing was specifically, I might have brought this up in a past stream, but let's see. How long ago was this? This was from October 8th. So I think I actually did bring this up on a past code. But Coding Wonders actually put this up, specifically them making this set default users command. This looked very vibe codey-ish. Like, this does not, like, so much of this is just bloat and garbage, like else if it's a COM port and all these other things. doesn't make sense. Like, what's this have to do with default user folders? Like, that doesn't, I can't think of one use case here unless there's some spaghetti code or something I didn't see. But looking at this, how Coding Wonders laid this out, this looks straight up vibe coded. And you might be thinking, does this even matter? Probably not. Like, all these if-else statements here, frankly, should not get triggered at all. So it will probably just go through this issue of a PowerShell command, go through this if statement, and then say, yep, it's a valid name, and it goes to the next one, right? For the folder name validation. And then it'll just add this and set the folder name with this one command. I look at how this is coded, and this should be probably 5 lines of code. And this is the code that you're getting out. I want to say this is going to come back. The tech debt that's being incurred by Microsoft is to a level here in 2-3 years, if this is what they're putting out, and a lot of this gets put into the code base and not actually checked, like there's not somebody going, hey, we got to keep this, like with WinUtil, for instance. I'm like, hey, I really don't want to go above 10,000 lines. Like, it takes a lot for me to commit more code, lines of code than is taken out on a PR. This right here would never make the smell test in WinUtil. But this does get accepted to Windows. That's a problem. When one guy like me, that's really, I've only been in, I was just learning GitHub in 2020. So 5 years maybe. Obviously I have a lot of experience in Windows in general and many other like scripting languages over the past 25 years. But as far as Git and actually developing and coding, I have minimal experience in comparison to, I think, many veterans. Maybe not, though, because this is what Microsoft's putting out, and to me it looks like complete ass. So Microsoft is vibe coding most of their PRs probably now, at the very least, and there seems to be no quality control to make sure that those are succinct and concise and don't implement a bunch of garbage. Because this garbage here, specifically this giant red rectangle here, this looks awful. And frankly, should not be there at all. If they want to do some kind of validation, there's so many different ways to do this far better. So that's just my thoughts going into that. Yeah, I just, so that's the title of the stream. It looks very vibe codey to me from Microsoft, and what happens to the stuff that isn't right there for us to look at. That was just a CMD file that they said, here you go. This is getting implemented. What's the actual code behind the scenes look like if that's what they're going for? And the thing that worries me the most is most of the executive teams, like 30% of the code written is from Copilot, or 50% of our code. They make a big deal, like the C-suite of Microsoft makes a big deal to tell you we are vibe coding. We are using AI to write code. And that is really, really important to know. This is not something I would ever advertise as a business. I honestly am ashamed of when I use AI, because I'm like, hey, not all of it was handwritten by me. I did double check this. I got it to where it should be. Yeah, I jippied it a little bit, maybe threw it through Claude a couple times, and then I kind of buttoned it up and made it more clean. But their big takeaway is, hey, we're just anything that can be AI driven or AI coded, let's go and let's just accept it. And that is wild. Like, okay, it works, push it to production. And that's kind of the Microsoft of today. And that scares the hell out of me, and it should scare every single Windows user in existence. I can't imagine what problems this is going to cause in like 2 to 3 years when they have minimal staff. They don't have the talent anymore to actually keep up with this code base, and the tech debt just spirals out of control. I mean, I guess it's just year of the Linux desktop. You know? But yeah. Yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild. Yeah, I mean, not even a startup or something small. It's Microsoft. That's the thing that blows my mind. They should have the talent there, the engineers there. And I've known many Microsoft engineers over the day. A lot of them are very talented. And to discount them and promote AI coding to the public is just insulting to those employees. I feel bad for the Microsoft employees that know what they're doing, that are good at their job. And hell, I know a couple of them have just been let go after working there for decades. So, I mean, Microsoft and big tech in general, man, I think they're just shooting themselves in the foot here. I think we're going to see in the next couple of years, you know, the roosts are going to come home and it's going to be bad. Or the hens are going to come home and roost. I forget the metaphor, but you guys get it. Oh, man. No age. Some features no other distro should have. Oh, no. But neither here or there. That's the title of the stream. That's why I titled the stream that way. The other thing I wanted to look at too today was specifically Vert Manager. I was running into an issue, specifically passing through one of the, let's go details. I think it was the NIC device, actually. No, not the NIC device. It was another PCIe device. And I think it was LSPCI. Let's see what we got. It was the USB because I need to update an Xbox controller. I have this Xbox controller I've been needing to, I wanted it to go wireless in Linux, but this older version of Xbox controller firmware doesn't support Bluetooth very well in Linux on the old version, so we need to update the firmware. If we grep VFIO, was it A3? And let's go. Was it before 3? I can't remember. Yeah. That was it. So we were looking specifically for the kernel driver for our PCIe. Well, let's go grep USB. No. USB. Okay. What were we using? Here it is. This guy. D3:00. That's what I wanted to pass through. This USB host controller. Because that's an entire card that I need to pass through. GPU USB is, but for whatever reason no, it's using the correct one. Look at this. Yeah, so USB-C I could technically plug into this one and plug into, well, that would be the easy way of this, wouldn't it? Well, that was, I don't want to use my I don't want to use my GPU. We need to fix this. So let's take this guy, and I'm going to just take it, and we're going to come over into our mod probe and see what we got. etc mod probe. And if we look at VFIO, what are we looking at? So we have soft dependency right there. Did we blacklist that though? Oh, you know what? I don't think we did the PCI IDs changed. This one's 1912-0014. 1912-00. No, it's there. Hey, how's it going, Yag? Win borked my Win install today. Yeah, typical Windows updates, man. I'll tell you. It's always something like that. Always. Keeps me in business, though, I'll tell you. Let's see what we have from Novu. This is Blacklist. NVim. USB. Blacklist. List.conf. And then blacklist. I think it's we'll just write to that. So just blacklist and then the driver name should be fine. So blacklisting that should be okay. And I think we can manually unstub it right here without a reboot as well. Oh, I could do, let's look at KVM as well. That's just like MSRS and a few other like optimizations for KVM. So that's fine. Now, for unstubbing this, let's Jippity it. You know, Jippity does a pretty good job with most Linux issues. Let's go. I'm gonna take this. We're gonna feed that in. This use kernel driver VFIO PCI. Yeah, it's in that specific IMOU group. Boom, get current IDs. We've already done that. It'll be that. And then we temporary bind it. I think we have to unbind it first, actually. So let's just copy this. We'll unbind that one. It's close, but let's see. No such device? Ooh, you know what? They got the ID wrong. All right, let's go. Should be D3001. There it goes. So now it's unbound. And then we will bind it to VFIO with a bind command. So on the sudo mod probe, let's go VFIO PCI. Let's verify that. Kind of want to just look at what we have in here. Like, Jippity does a decent job, but it doesn't really get everything 100%. It's just like enough. See, we don't have the bind for the D. Okay. We need that. So we're going to go sudo colon, and then we need the 3D or D3, and we're going to colon 00.0. It should be there. And then sudo T. I didn't need to do a sudo on that echo. Nah, it's fine. Then we grab this device. And that's going to be bind. I've always had better luck with Claude. GPT seems to make more errors for me personally. Anecdotally, maybe because I'm more heavier on the coding side of things and I do more scripting work, where I think just Claude performs better than GPT.
Yeah, well,
but to each his
to
own.
do the binds.
Fat Bastard, thank you for the gifted sub. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I haven't used DeepSeek in a long time, actually. Let's take a list. So now we should have the D3 bound to VFIO PCIe. No, that was incorrect, I think, actually. For the drivers, let's see. So they do this sudo, and then, yeah, let's just do D3 there. Then we'll come back and make it permanent. I just feel like that's wrong. Yeah, so it's on VFIO now. PCI, KNN, grep, VFIO. Making sure, yeah, it's all there. So that's fine. But if I look at this, the one thing that's kind of sticking out to me is when you're doing that bind, it's binding to this instead of the ID that I'm seeing over here. So I was like, that's interesting. So GPT kind of got that wrong. They flip-flopped the IOMMU group and the actual hardware ID. Why? Let's check that VFIO again. I'm going to go VFIO over here. Yeah, so VFIO is set up properly. And if we look back through our history over here, what was it? So you have this Renesis, but this should be there's PCI Renesis. Okay. Renesis. Yeah, that looks legit. That looks fine. I don't see any issue. Let's look at the mod MKN CPIO. Yeah, that's all good. There's nothing I would change with that. Let's also look at grub. Default grub. And do we have 1920 by 1014? Yep, we do. So that's fine. Huh. So all we've done is blacklisted the driver and it should work. But we manually unbound it as well. I just think that that's not gonna... I don't think it's gonna be sticky. But let's give it a whirl. And we're gonna go, was it? Went all the way down here. Should be There it is. D3. Finish. Then we're passing that through. Let's start it up. And we should be able to pass through the entire device. All right, started. And the big thing I want to see here is I'm going to plug in my Xbox controller directly into that USB card. And I need a hardware level access to it specifically for doing firmware updates in Windows. Even though it's a VM, I want it to not be treated like a VM. Which, I mean, it's pretty solid right now. So, under storage and devices, let me just unplug. Oh, it was already there. So when I plug it in, Xbox peripherals, right there, Xbox controller.
Yeah, well.
Now I want to log into, I think it's like Xbox accessories or some crap. Hey, W, thank you for the Prime. So let's go Xbox accessories. Because I want to use this inside of Linux. So we have this. Should see a firmware update. So then I can use it in Linux. So, update now. Before we start, make sure your update. Probably shouldn't do updates through a VM. I'm just going to throw that. Definitely not through a pass-through USB. But since this is a pass-through PCIe card, it should be fine. That or I'm about to brick this $60 controller. Hopefully not that. Yeah. That's why I use replicas. Don't care about the firmware. Yeah, that's fair. But the replicas just don't feel quite right to me. So I kind of like the authentic controllers, even though they give me such headache. Especially in Linux. But in theory, this update should fix the Bluetooth issues I was having in Linux, because before it was just disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting, connecting, and I wanted to show that. Okay, cool. It's still going. Yeah, I never watched the videos online. What was the too long didn't watch those videos about Xbox being killed? I think they just stopped producing the consoles, right? Oh, I know. I love 8-bit Dio. I have a Bluetooth Super Nintendo version of that made by 8-bit Do, which is really good. Yeah, 360 controllers are pretty solid. I really do enjoy the look and feel of the new Xbox controllers, though. I know. I shouldn't. I feel dirty, like I need to go take a shower after using them, but they do feel good. Once everything actually set up and works, but let's see if we can update this thing through a pass-through PCIe config. Yeah, I like the wireless. I know. I shouldn't. I should just plug it in with the cable and be done with it. It works fine with the cable, by the way. This whole firmware update is just me wanting wireless. It works fine if I just plug it in. But that's not good enough for me. I want perfection. I still don't understand the whole $300 like elite keyboard stuff. Did you know the chaotic AUR in Pac-Man was created by Garuda Linux since 2020? I did not. Libre Wish was the first co-maintainer of Chaotic back in 2018. Garuda packages and everything else until 2023. Wow. FossHost stopped sponsoring them. They moved everything to their new infra except mirrors. Okay. I did not know. I didn't realize Garuda hosted almost all of Chaotic. Oh, you never made a video why controllers work in Linux. That's a good point. It's been a while since I've done that type of Linux video too. All right, so we have this guy. No update needed. We are on the latest firmware update. Turn on controller assist. What's that? Huh. That's weird. Anyways. So now that that's done, let's shut this bad boy down. Clack. Okay, we already got the pairing request coming in. Okay. Device manager? It says it's connected, but we still have blinky light. That's no bueno. So let's remove this device. Okay, disconnect it. And then we'll go into pairing mode for this, which go devices maybe. Okay, so then I'm going to hold the power button and the pair button together. Then we'll get the fast blink. Go for a search. Should see something. Okay, that's weird. It looks like it connected. But I don't see anything here. Huh. I might have turned on the Xbox inside the house. Yeah, I still got an Xbox. I know. You can be disappointed in me later. I don't play it often. So. Let's go with this. Okay, so we'll go here. Let's go pair. Trust. Connect. Huh. That's weird. Connect. Okay. Looks like it's connected. Shows it's connected. But it doesn't say it's connected. I think we might actually have like a conflict or something. Oh, Bluetooth. You know, I always say it's kind of wild how Bluetooth, the only operating system that ever has done Bluetooth very well, has been Mac. Why is that, I wonder? You know? Did Mac create like the Bluetooth that we know today? I don't get it. Yeah. All right. Let's pull up Steam, I guess, and see if this thing is on here. Yes. Oh yeah, I'll eat it. I'll come here in a minute, bud. I'm live streaming right now. All right. Well, now it's blinking all weird. Okay, now it's All right, let's go devices. Pair. Can we get a pair? Huh. Okay, we're gonna send it back into pairing mode. Let's go pair. All right, somebody mentioned Xbox tools or something. BT tools properly, and most developers neglect that. Yeah. All right, most people are saying go CLI. Dang. Yeah, and there it's coming in. It's better than it was. Let's untrust. Let's remove. All right. It looks like it's still in pairing mode. I'm going to do a search and see if we can't find it. And then pair. Okay, it says the pair worked. And it shows it's connected. Trust. Maybe it was just like reminiscences of the last time I tried to connect it. So that now looks good. So, does it work? That is the question. Here, we'll install. What do we got? I think I have like 2 Final Fantasies on here. This is a really, really small game that would require Bluetooth. Yeah, here we go. And I'll try to hit the keypad here once it finishes. Yeah, Steam settings should do it. Yeah, I play Silksong, but I think my son is actually playing Silksong right now, so I can't even log into it. Yeah, just do the search panel. I think I might buy Silksong from GOG as well, just so I have it in my GOG library. And honestly, it's $20. It's such a great game for $20, and I just like supporting indie devs, so I'll buy it twice. I think, just because they're so good. Like every other big gaming studio typically tries to rob you and give you absolutely enough. Where Team Cherry gave it like for $20, they give you an amazing game. So I don't mind buying that twice if I want to have it as well. All right, so Steam input. Yep. Okay. Let's enable it. Sure. Let's see if we can go. Yeah, it's already working. Hot dog. It worked. All right, cool. I don't even need to launch in the game. We now have working Bluetooth. Now, the reason why I did that was specifically for getting Bluetooth working in here. The reason why I know Bluetooth can work really well in Linux is it feels like when I'm on my Steam Deck, it does very, very well with like my Bluetooth headset and many other things. Like even like, I think I have like a, God, I think it's like Max Pros or something like that from a headset perspective. And when I'm on my Steam Deck, it syncs up great with that. It syncs up great with like, I think I have some Google Pixel Buds and some other Bluetooth crap. And again, no problems with the Steam Deck. So a lot of the Bluetooth issues I'm encountering over here, I think is more self-inflicted by myself or skill issue. And that's why I was like, no, I need to fix this. And then when I was having problems with this controller, I did some more research on the problems I was having, and I found out that specifically the Xbox controller, the older firmwares don't respond well to Bluetooth. And to get proper connection with Bluetooth, you need to update the firmware. So that was the whole purpose of us passing through that PCIe card and then doing the firmware update for this guy, was because it used to just go connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect, and now it doesn't. And it was all just a firmware, not necessarily a configuration here. Although you saw there was some jank to this setup in Linux, where I had to purge the existing, like the old try with the old firmware. So I removed that, unpaired it, flushed it, then set the controller back into pairing mode, and then connected it. And now we have perfectly functional keyboard, I'm just holding down the power button on the keyboard so it doesn't run the battery out. So, boom, disconnected. So nice. Yeah, it's never the drivers, it's the developers and tools a lot of times, man, for sure. And it's like the implementation of Bluetooth, just, it can be a little janky. It's janky in Windows too. Like, Windows users know what I'm talking about. When you try to do like Bluetooth headsets and Bluetooth key controllers in Windows, it's just as bad. I think Linux is probably a little better than Windows when it comes to Bluetooth, and then Mac just does it the best. I don't know why that is, but Mac has fantastic Bluetooth support, and Apple does a fantastic job. Whatever they do in the back end, they are the best for Bluetooth. So, and maybe that's, they have so much tie-in, and, you know, I guess they were some of the first to do it. I don't know. But I just know that's my practical experience with them. I don't think it's because of ARM. It's always been that way. I don't know why Mac OS has always been good with Bluetooth. So, yeah, I think it's a lot of people working on it with the excessive profit margin. It's true. It's true. But I mean, just having profit margins doesn't matter that much, Peter. Look at Microsoft. They're the worst at it, and they have trillions of dollars at their disposal, and yet Bluetooth still sucks worse than anything else. I don't know why Windows sucks at Bluetooth. Like, did they fire everybody that was in the Bluetooth division? I don't know. They think, oh, maybe Copilot. Maybe Copilot's in charge of Bluetooth control. That's what it is. Linux supports LDAC codec. Windows does not. Okay. I've always had better luck with Bluetooth in Linux. And when I've had problems with Bluetooth in Linux, typically it was something with the firmware in the device itself, as was the case with this Xbox controller. Yeah. Or just don't use Bluetooth. Hey, I like Bluetooth, man. When you can get it working well and you have a good adapter, why not use it? Although I will say a lot of people use like the really cheapo, like nano Bluetooth adapters off Amazon for like $10. Those have always been really hit and miss. I don't know what it is. Every time I do one of those crappy Bluetooth adapters, it never ends well. It's never like, oh, it just works. It always has caused me problems, the generic Bluetooth adapters with Bluetooth 4.69, whatever it is. All of them have just been terrible. It didn't matter what the brand name. I could go TP-Link. I could go some off-brand. It doesn't matter. It's just, ugh. Sorry, small Bluetooth rant there. Just one of those things. All right. Sweet. I've seen so many rants about Bluetooth, I spare myself the heartache when I not going Bluetooth. Fair. But once you get it working, I mean, look. I turned it off. Watch, I'll turn it on now. You'll see. It works perfect. Flawless. So you can get it good in Linux. Battery shows 50% at a time, but whatever, it's fine. It does work. So, like when I hold this button in, it will turn off and disconnect. And it's perfect. So there it goes. It's off and boom, disconnected. Exactly as it should be. Windows can't replicate that. A lot of times at least. I don't know why. It's just the setup kind of sucks on Linux. I think that's my big gripe with it. It's getting it all set to do specifically that is kind of a headache. But once you get it set, it works great. What's a good MP3 player for Linux? Jeez, I really don't use MP3 players in Linux that much. Probably Strawberry or what do you think, chat? What's the best? Does one of your kids finally use Linux for the system for gaming? No, they're still mostly Windows. Yeah, I actually went with the X1 DKMS as well, Damien Killer. So you got Eliza, MPV if you're just going bare bones. Eliza or Elisa. I'm gonna say Eliza. MPV with a bunch of options. You got the KDE app. Strawberry's great. Audacious, nice GUI player. I don't think I've ever seen Eliza. I've used Strawberry in the past. Audacious is good as well. I've used that one in the past. Yeah, VLC's trash on Linux. Agreed. Juke or Strawberry. Let's try Eliza. A couple people mentioned it. Eliza Linux. Let's look. No. That's not it. Oh, this is the KDE version, actually. Oh. Yeah, okay. And the made by KDE. Look at that. Is it a KDE app that doesn't suck? I'm sorry. I don't want to throw shade KDE's way. I love KDE as a desktop environment, but most of their apps do suck. Do I need to say any more with Conquer, Contact? It's awful. Most of their apps they include with like the KDE full experience is atrocious. This is apparently one that's not. So that's good. It looks good too. All right. I like it. I'm surprised they didn't call it Cusick. Maybe that's why it doesn't suck. Maybe they took another open source project and then just brought it in. It actually has a decent name. That's kind of funny. You know, Kate, that's right. Kate is actually pretty good. I take it back. Yeah, Kate is a great, just standard editor for KDE. And honestly, console's not bad with a K. I don't mind it from a terminal standpoint. I don't mind the file browser in there as well. Eliza looks pretty decent as well. So there's some stuff. I eat my words on that. Kdenlive is cool as well. Okay, yeah. It's just some of the acts with KDE. I'm gonna revise my statement and just say Contact, Conquer, and there's probably 2 or 3 other ones in there that really suck. But those are actually not that bad. Use Helix, not a chance. Not a chance, Peter. I am a Vim through and through at this point. It's taken me like 2 years to get as good as I am in Vim right now, and I'm still a toddler in the grand scheme of things. I'm not about to switch. You can't pay me enough money. There's not enough views in the world to make me switch to any other editor at this point. I still bounce back and forth with VS Code though, as you all know. I still prefer KDE over GNOME. Yeah. You know, Fluffy, I'm right there with you. KDE just seems the best from a desktop environment. And that might be just like the old Windows user in me coming out. Cinnamon is good, I think, for a lot of like real basic users. But from a power user perspective, Cinnamon just kind of falls short for me. And I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it exactly. I just feel like KDE is just much more granular and it allows you to do and customize much more than Cinnamon. Even though that might not be the case in practice, I just found, I don't know, KDE seems better to me. Really? You break Cinnamon? Okay. I haven't seen that. I've always liked the Linux Mint team that is behind Cinnamon. All right, you guys, I'm going to shut it down for the day. I know we were going to get into like Xbox app and everything, but I'm kind of wiped out from this weekend, so I'm going to have a short stream today, and we're going to call it here. This weekend I did a CrossFit competition. So that was fun, but it was from 8 a.m. on Saturday to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was a lot of events I competed in, and it was brutal. It was brutal, to say the least. So I'm gonna call it here and rest up for tomorrow's stream. Tomorrow, I have been wanting to tinker with that stupid Xbox thing. I will just have one thing for Tuesday, and that's gonna be the Xbox interface in Windows with no Explorer.exe. That will be the only thing I'm gonna look at. I'm not gonna get sidetracked. It will be that. I know it's been on the stream agenda for the last 2 streams. Still haven't gotten to it, but tomorrow we will. No, I don't allow them near that cult. They didn't join. No, I always think, whatever it is to get you guys active, it can be anything. Whatever floats your boat, I always say. If it's biking, if it's running, if it's whatever, I think you just need some kind of strength, some kind of cardio. And then once you got both those things going and you enjoy them, just do that thing. That's the tech tip from Chris Titus of the day. for personal health. Just some kind of strength, some kind of cardio, mix them in together. 3 of each week is all you need to do. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. All right, I'm just going to sit here yapping. So I'm out of here, y'all. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully iron out some of those audio issues. I'm kind of like dreading looking back on this stream and going, oh, hate it when my audio is not on par. But for the next stream, we should be solid. All right, y'all. Deuces.